Hello, I hope everyone is doing well today. In this video, I'm going to be looking at 4 different ways that you could use to go from 75 to 99 range with the cost and time estimates included. Now, these methods are going to vary greatly in terms of how much they're going to cost or profit and how long they're going to take. A while back, I made a guide for going from 1 to 99 range, and that got a lot of support, so I really appreciate everyone who's watched my videos or subscribed or left comments. The feedback really helps me get better and develop better content for my channel. So the first method I looked at for going from 75 to 99 range here, and not personally one I would use due to how long it would take, but I just thought I would throw green dragons out here just so I can show you how much money you would actually make if you were to kill green dragons this long and how long it would take. Now, you're definitely going to want to bring a looting bag, and I used a rune crossbow with broad bolts. You're going to have to watch out for PKers like this kind gentleman here. I definitely would have fought him, but I clearly wasn't geared for that. Those lobsters would not have exactly helped. So it took me about 17 minutes to fill up my entire inventory and looting bag. Another downside to this method, besides the fact that it takes longer, is that you do have to pay attention, otherwise you will lose this full load to someone like that PKer we just saw. I did spend a lot of time up here while I was training to get to 70 range, right around 40, 50, 60 range. This was a gold mine for me. I really built my account on money, largely from green dragons, but I haven't killed them a whole lot since I've been 70, 80, 90 range. And the reason being is that you only gain about 25,000 experience per hour, and it would take 463 hours to go from 75 to 99. You would make 236 mil from this, but that is still a crazy amount of time to spend on training range. So overall, I would not recommend this method all the way to 99. The next method I wanted to look at was Zullrah. I did remember spending a little bit of time training there. I wanted an Obi cape at one point, but couldn't quite afford it, so I went and tried to get it myself. I would recommend killing the Zullrah Ket, the level 149s, as they have the most HP, and they have the best drop rates on obsidian maul, shields, and capes. Ooh, got 88 hit points there. Didn't even know I was going to get that. So this is definitely a good place to train range due to the monster's high hit points, the safe spot behind the volcano, and the possibility of good drops. Obsidian capes are currently selling for around 400k each, which can be one of those drops could really make the whole hour for you. I tried this 2 different ways. First with the rune crossbow with broad bolts, and that is definitely the cheapest option here, as broad bolts are only about 60 GP each. However, this method only yielded about 47,000 experience, which is much better than green dragons, but not nearly as good as some of the methods I'm going to show later. However, I was able to get about 60,000 experience per hour using the toxic blowpipe with Mith darts. That would, though, cut into your profit margin should you make any money off this. So how viable is the Zullrah as a training method? I based my numbers off using the rune crossbow with the broad bolts to compare it with the green dragons, and 47,000k per hour and 252 hours total. So we've shaved over 200 hours off our time, and we will earn 127 mil on average over the course of the leveling from 75 to 99 range. Next, we're going to be looking at Nightmare Zone. Nightmare Zone is also a very popular location for training range. I'm not going to go too in depth because there are a lot of Nightmare Zone guides out there, and this is not a guide for Nightmare Zone. I have done a lot of training there, especially 80 plus. I've currently gotten myself to 94, almost 95 range off Nightmare Zone. I was able to gain about 90 to 95,000 experience an hour when I'm semi-AFK using this setup. I kind of emphasize prayer bonus over range by having the miter and the holy sandals as opposed to like a robin or ranger boots. I just find this to help make the trips last longer, and I don't believe that having the extra range bonus boosts experience that much. If you do want to boost experience, though, you could do what I'm doing here, and that is to pay a little bit closer attention and hit the power-ups. The power surge is amazing and can boost your experience upwards of 10k per hour if you're using it with the blowpipe. The blowpipe special attack adds 50% in damage. You can see here I'm hitting quite a few 30s, which is awesome XP drops. Other power-ups you can look out for are Zapper and recurrent damage. These don't so much increase your experience, but if you're worried about Nightmare Zone points, these will greatly add to the total number of points you end up with. So how does Nightmare Zone compare for high-level range training? Well, to gain 11,800,000 experience, you're going to have to use about 52 mil worth of supplies. In return, you will gain about 40 million Nightmare Zone points, which will translate to 4.2k herb boxes or 59 mil. However, it will take 281 days to buy them all. Lastly, I did want to mention chinning. I feel like I never talk about this, and that's because I've never really done it. I can't do it since I did Monkey Madness early on and I can't get back to Ape Atoll. So I'm really not an expert on chinning, and I don't want to pretend to be. I know that it's a good method and that a lot of people do it, and there are a lot of guides out there for it and a lot of data on how much experience per hour you can get doing this. But I'm hesitant to include something like this in a guide because I have not tested it myself. So I can't give you solid numbers that I have gathered. All the other data that I provide, numbers, I've gained myself through trial and error in game. So I thought this was funny since I can't get back to Ape Atoll and chin skeletal monkeys. I thought I would chin a skeleton and a monkey. Nobody? Oh, too bad. I thought that was a good one. So most of the guides out there I've seen show around 200 experience per hour with Hawkeye, red chins, and around my level, and no void, which means 59 hours and about 134 mil worth of chins. So this table here summarizes pretty much what I've talked about in this video. That time there is the amount of time it takes to go from 75 to 99 range, and the cost/profit is how much you will either spend or make doing that method. So you can use this to decide what is best for you in your current situation in the game. Alright, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you for watching, and if you've made it this far, please leave a like or a comment. Let me know what you think, and we'll see you next time. Bye.